Hi, everyone. Recently, my husband and I went to see Michael, the movie based on the life of Michael Jackson. So I'm Teresa Lysam, and I'm going to share a little bit about what I picked up from that movie. It was more than I anticipated. So, Michael Jackson and my husband and I were from a similar era. And I remember first hearing about him, seeing him when I was in junior high, and he was performing with the Jackson Five. Now, I might be dating myself a little bit, but that's okay. So I was fascinated with him even then as a youngster. There was just something magnetic about his presence, his confidence, his stage performance, and his ability to command attention even at that young age. I certainly was of a similar age and I did not feel that confident as he was putting off on that stage. So over the years, I continue to watch different chapters of his life unfold. So sitting in that theater recently felt a little nostalgic, a chance to revisit not only his story, but memories from my own life as well. And more than once during that movie, I found myself forgetting that I was watching an actor. The actor portraying him I thought, was extraordinary. His movements, his expressions, his energy were so convincing that I felt like Michael himself had stepped back onto the screen. But what surprised me the most wasn't that performance, although that was surprising. It was what the movie quietly revealed going on in the background or underneath it. There were small moments woven throughout the movie that caught my personal attention. They weren't flashy, they weren't announced, they were just glimpses of Michael speaking to himself before stepping on stage or standing in front of a microphone in a recording studio or little post-it notes on mirrors and bulletin boards. They were words of confidence, words of certainty, words of affirmation, words that seemed to reinforce who he believed himself to be or who he wanted himself to be. And what struck me wasn't ego. What struck me was that he appeared to be creating belief internally for himself before receiving external validation. He was creating from the inside out. And that's something many of us don't naturally do. I know it's taking me a while to get to that point, and I'm not there, but I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Because often we wait for approval, we wait for results, we wait for someone else to notice us, we wait until circumstances prove that we're capable, we wait for permission from the outside world. But what if confidence doesn't arrive after success? What if confidence is something we practice beforehand? Hmm? Now, of course, Michael had God-given talents and gifts. His musical ability, his creativity, his stage presence were obvious. But the movie also reminded me that natural talent only tells part of his story. Behind his performances was the preparation, the practice. He was observing others who performed, experimenting, learning, hours and hours of invisible work behind the scenes. He wasn't simply relying on talent. He was developing it. He rehearsed. He studied others. He looked for inspiration. He was refining his craft. And even though he was gifted, he still experienced, nervousness and pressure. And that surprised me in a comforting way. Because sometimes we imagine, at least I do personally, that confident people never doubt themselves. People that I see as successful, I think in my mind that, oh, they never have any doubts. They're always that confident. But maybe confidence isn't the absence of nerves. Maybe confidence is showing up anyway because you're prepared and you're ready to step forward, whether you're quite ready 100% or not. Now, that part really stayed with me. The part that he was becoming the person he wanted to be before the world would see it. And we tend to celebrate visible outcomes, the performance, the achievements, the success, the final version. But there's an entire unseen season that happens before any of that appears. There's the becoming, the private moments, the practice, the internal conversations, the decision to believe in yourself before the evidence fully exists. And honestly, isn't that true for all of us? And most of us aren't stepping into, onto concert stages, and we're not stepping into things such as he did, but we are stepping into things that do feel vulnerable for us personally, whether that be a difficult conversation, a business idea, a health journey, retirement, a new chapter, setting a boundary, making a dream come true. Perhaps one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is to begin seeing ourselves there in advance. Not pretending, not forcing, but gently rehearsing possibility. This movie made me think about something simple. Every day, we're rehearsing something internally in our mind. Some of us rehearse doubt. Some of us rehearse perfectionism. Some rehearse worst case scenarios. Some rehearse having to prove ourselves. But what if we intentionally rehearsed trust, self-trust? What if we became more conscious of the words we repeat to ourselves? Because eventually those thoughts become actions, and actions become habits. Habits then become identity, and identity shapes our future. Now I have a small invitation for you. Take one quiet minute today. Imagine you're standing backstage before stepping into something important in your own life. What would you want your inner voice to say? Would it sound supportive? Would it sound kind? Would it sound like somebody who believes in you? And if not, what's one sentence you'd like to begin practicing instead? Here's some ideas. I trust myself. I am becoming who I've met who I'm meant to be. I already have what I need for this moment. I can learn what I don't know yet. I'm allowed to grow. Now, you don't have to wait for the audience. Sometimes the most important voice in the room is your own. So the next time something in your life doesn't look the way you expected, pause for a moment. Before labeling it as wrong, disappointing, or not enough, you might want to ask yourself, what might I be missing here? Because I'm still holding on to what I thought this should be, or why am I holding on to what I thought this should be? And maybe that one question can open up a new way of seeing. And if you're in a season where things seem a little unclear, a little off, not quite how you imagined, you don't have to have it all figured out at once. Sometimes the most powerful next step is simply learning how to see yourself and your life more clearly without the pressure of getting it right. If that's something you're exploring, I would love to connect with you. Leave a comment, subscribe while you're here, sign up for my blogs. Stay connected with me. I love having thoughtful conversations with women who are rediscovering themselves, their strengths, learning to trust themselves again. Connect with me and let's have a conversation. See you in the next video. I'm Teresa Lysam.